Business owner or employee, it really doesn't matter what role you're in. Whenever it comes down to how many years you've been in your actual job or your company, it really comes down to how you treat every single day prospectively. So in today's video, we're going to do a deep dive on why you should be treating every single day as day number one, whether you own a company or whether you are employed by an employer. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Brian and I help people improve their painting businesses. So today we're going to talk a little bit about why you should be treating every single day as if it's your first day doing it. Doesn't matter what it is, it could be a hobby, you could own a company, you could be an employee of a company, have a job, you can have a pet and maintain them. Doesn't really matter what it is. Just from what I found, perceiving whatever you're doing as if it's the first time you're doing it and maintaining that throughout the entire lifespan of your time doing that. That's generally whenever, you start seeing top performance and results from whatever you're doing. So, reason number one is, why the heck would you not want to treat every day like it's your first day? If you do that, you're in a mental spot in your mind that you're always progressing forward and moving up in the right direction. If you don't kind of keep treating it like that, you'll eventually start to stagnate and plateau. So instead of kind of moving up your path and progressively going forward, you start plateauing, and let's face it, who the hell wants to do that? So, biggest reason why you should kind of adopt a mindset like this is because it's fun and it's exciting. You start to see more results, more growth, and honestly, you can kind of maintain that little passion that you had whenever you first started something. You never kind of get tired of it if you kind of adopt it that way. So that's the biggest reason. Reason number one is basically because, why the hell not? You owe it to yourself so much more than you think just to do something, phenomenally and have the same exact drive and passion that you had the first day you started doing it. Okay, second reason is because there's just so much advance and change in our economy and culture lately, especially with all the technological advances. If an economy or your environment is changing so frequently, you're kind of forced to change and adapt with that. If you aren't adapting to that change, let's just face it, you're probably not gonna keep up much longer. If you have a company, and you don't change to that environment, odds are you're not gonna be around forever. If you have a job and you're not changing and progressing through that role, then you're probably not gonna have that job for a while. If it's a hobby, it's probably gonna fizz out eventually. Jeff Bezos, the owner of Amazon, he actually brought this up in an interview a while back about his company, and the reason that he says that they do so well and they're so successful is because him and everybody else in his company treats every single day as if it's day number one. Meaning, even after they kind of had really crazy good growth and they were doing pretty well on paper, they could have just said, hey, I'm cool, I'm happy with what we did, what we're doing, where we're going. Let's just kind of coast it out from here on out. He could have easily just put everything on pause, plateaued a little bit, and just maintained what he was doing there. But no, he just chose to keep pushing forward. And, fast forward 5, 10, 15 years later, he's, one of the leading companies in the actual market. Also, about 6 months ago, I actually flew down to North Carolina and shadowed another painting contractor for 2 days, 2 full days. And this guy, it was unreal on how he operated his company. He was an advocate for approaching every single day, every single hour that he was doing business as day number one. It only took him about 7 years or so to get from nothing all the way to $20 million in revenue. And you don't get to that point unless you're always pushing forward. There's that's honestly what separates the really, really good successful people and the rock stars that really stand out and shine in the world versus the people that don't. You either treat it as if it's your first time doing it and you give 110% every single day, or you're going to get left behind eventually. So shifting over to an employee perspective, if you're an employee and you have a job for somebody, whatever you're doing, your number one goal is basically to make that company more money. Like the only reason they're paying you is to basically get more in return to be able to stay afloat and operate profitably. So if you're an employee and you approach it with this mindset and you give it 110% and you are treating it as if it's day number one, odds are you're going to be finding more opportunity in whatever you're doing, and you're bringing more value back to the company that you're working for. And odds are, whatever that employer is looking for, they're probably going to really like what they see, and then you'll be more prone to be getting a promotion within that company or role or whatever you're doing. It's very binary. It's very straightforward. And honestly, whenever it comes down to it, again, it doesn't matter if you're an employee or an owner of a company, or if it's something like you're just doing recreationally. You just have too much at stake to not be having this mindset every single day of your life. It's really not just for you. It's for everybody else in your life too. Who really wants to be around somebody, in their life that's kind of negative and not enjoying what they're doing? People can sense and vibe off of that energy that you give off. And unless you're approaching, whatever you're doing with that mindset, you're not going to be as optimal as you can be. So you owe it to yourself, you owe it to your family, your friends, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your employer, literally everybody that you can think of. It's the least selfish thing you can do, just to operate with this mindset. So, again, I want to keep it simple, straightforward to the point. The biggest reason is just to kind of approach every single thing that you do as if it's the first time you're doing it. Give 110% in whatever you're doing. Always adapt to the changing environment and the economy. Just kind of be aware of your surroundings. And not only do it for yourself, but do it for everybody else around you in your life and in your market. So guys, thanks for watching. Until next time, this is Brian. Definitely catch me in another video if you want to talk about or learn anything about how to improve your painting business.